Moral foundations differences, the weight of compassion. The city council chamber was quiet except for the soft rustle of papers and the hum of fluorescent lights overhead. Emma Fischer sat at the long oak table, fingers folded together, listening carefully as the public comments concluded. Outside, the winter wind swept through the narrow streets of the old European city. Inside, the council faced a decision that had already divided the community. The proposal was simple in its wording, but complex in its consequences. The city would open several large housing facilities for refugees who had recently arrived in the country. Emma believed deeply that the decision was morally obvious. "These are human beings," she said when it was her turn to speak. "Families fleeing war, violence, and instability. If we have the capacity to help, then we have the responsibility to help." Her words carried the quiet conviction of someone guided by a strong moral compass, one centered on care and fairness. Across the table, Councilman Marcus Weber shifted in his chair. "No one here wants to see people suffer," he replied. "But the question is not compassion alone. The question is whether we are creating problems we cannot manage in the future." Marcus was guided by a different set of moral instincts: loyalty to the community, stability, and long-term social cohesion. Emma leaned forward. "History will judge us by how we treat the vulnerable," she said. Marcus sighed. "History will also judge whether we preserved the society that allowed us to help others in the first place." What Emma and Marcus did not realize, at least not consciously, was that their disagreement reflected something studied in political psychology called moral foundations theory, associated with research by Jonathan Haidt. According to this framework, people tend to prioritize different moral values. Some focus strongly on care, reducing suffering; fairness, treating everyone equally. Others place greater weight on loyalty, protecting the group; authority, maintaining order; sanctity, preserving cultural traditions. Emma's instincts pulled her toward the first two. Marcus felt responsible for the latter three. Neither of them believed they were acting irrationally. Both believed they were defending what mattered most. Weeks later, the policy passed. Temporary housing was built on the outskirts of the city. Volunteers organized language classes and employment programs. Emma visited frequently, bringing books for the children and helping coordinate community support. For a time, everything seemed to confirm her hopes, but change arrived slowly, as it often does. Local schools struggled to accommodate the sudden increase in students. Housing prices began rising as the city invested heavily in social programs. Some neighborhoods felt the strain of cultural differences that neither side had fully anticipated. Marcus watched these developments carefully. One evening after a council meeting, he spoke quietly with Emma in the empty hallway. "You see," he said gently, "this is what people were worried about." Emma crossed her arms. "These challenges are temporary," she replied. "Integration takes time." Perhaps she was right, or perhaps the problems would grow. The truth was that both outcomes were possible. Political disagreements like this often arise not because one side wants harm, but because each side fears a different type of harm. For Emma, the greatest moral failure would be turning away suffering people. For Marcus, the greatest moral failure would be weakening the stability of the society responsible for protecting millions of its own citizens. Both perspectives emerged from deeply rooted moral instincts, and that is what made the conflict so difficult to resolve. Because when people believe their position is morally righteous, compromise can feel like betrayal. The real challenge facing modern democracies is not simply policy disagreements. It is the fact that citizens often operate with different moral priorities, each convinced they are defending what is right. Without recognizing these differences, political debates can easily turn into accusations, each side believing the other is reckless, selfish, or dangerous. Yet beneath the arguments lies something more human. Two groups of people trying, in their own ways, to protect what they value most.